Hi, welcome back to our fourth session at the virtual Watershed Symposium on Friday, November 6th. This session will cover different educational outreach opportunities for watershed associations. You'll hear from students at Malden Elementary School who have partnered with Morris Creek Watershed Association for years to collect water quality data and spent the summer tracking fireflies and working to increase the bat population at Morris Creek. You'll also learn about West Virginia Department of Environmental Protection's Youth Environmental Program and hear about the new initiative of West Virginia Rivers and Trout Unlimited to develop a mobile phone watershed monitoring application. Thanks for joining us. You are probably experts at this now, but just a refresher on our Zoom meeting controls. Click on the mic to turn your microphone on and off. Click on the video to stop and start your web camera, and utilize the chat box to ask questions or to talk with other attendees. So without further ado, we will go ahead and play 3 different videos from Tanya Harper and Malden Elementary, and we'll have some student commentary in between. Tell us a little bit about your bat habitat project.
So we made some more bat houses and we went around and we took down some of their older ones and moved them to different places and put them back up. And we have to make sure that they're facing the south.
With no leaves in the way.
Yeah, with no leaves.
No limbs. They can't handle limbs. They like a free open area. So we replaced several that they had already started on, and now we are actually getting the plans together and the things that Wood donated to make a bat hotel also.
The scientific name for bats is chiroptera.
Bats are mammal and give birth to live young and nurse them.
There are 1,200 species of bats.
Bats use echolocation to get around and find their prey. Bats are nocturnal. They use the night to hunt their prey. good at keeping pests under control.
Bats primarily eat insects, and they can ingest up to 1,000 mosquitoes or insects in an hour.
Bats are great pollinators.
Bats live in caves and hollow trees.
Bats can live up to more than 30 years. Bats are vital to our ecosystem. West Virginia has two endangered bats, the Indiana bat and the Virginia big-eared bat.
Bat houses keep bats safe.
Bat houses need to stay close south.
We decided to set up bat houses to make a difference.
Tell us a little bit about your Firefly tracking project.
The DNR posted asking for help with the Fireflies. We saw it on social media, and
I thought it would be a good idea if Mama asked her students and the people who worked down at Morris Creek if they would want to make an area filled with things that fireflies like and stuff that attracts them, and turn it into a project and compare that area with another similar area before adding all the stuff that fireflies like.
Fireflies, lightning bugs, and glowworms are all named for an amazing insect scientifically named lamprey. There are more than 2,000 species of lamprey, and they are famous for their use of bioluminescence during twilight. Fireflies are the world's favorite beetle. Each evening they light up the night sky like a million stars that you can actually catch and hold in your hands or keep in a jar as a night light. Don't forget to have your parents let them go after you fall asleep.
Fireflies use their bioluminescence to attract mates or prey. As the evening begins, they rise up from the tall grass and hover around the ground. As the night gets darker, they rise up into the trees. As morning approaches, they come back down to the tall grass to hide and stay cool throughout the day.
prefer tall grass around pine trees and wildflowers near sources of water. They are nocturnal. Using their light to attract mates, they lay their eggs just below the surface of the ground. It takes about a month for the eggs to hatch. Their larvae are called glowworms, and they hibernate during the winter months. Some species hibernate for years.
Fireflies have been found all over the world. You can identify these species of firefly by their bioluminescent glow. Their glow can be yellow, greenish, yellow, green, blue, or red. They can blink fast, slow, and cyclonate or make a G shape.
Fireflies can be predatory. They feed on larvae, snails, slugs, other insects, as well as plant pollen and nectar. They are very diverse, but luckily for them, they do not taste well to other animals. They are bitter, so most animals will avoid them. That is why some beetles try to mimic them as a defense against predators.
In spite of their natural defenses and how much people love fireflies, their populations are declining all around the world. Loss of habitat, pesticides, weed killers, and light pollution have caused a huge decline in firefly populations.
We love fireflies, so we wanted to do something to save them. The West Virginia Department of Natural Resources asked us to help monitor them. We formed a team and went to Forest Creek Watershed to make a sanctuary for fireflies. We cleared a field and planted wildflowers, pine trees, milkweed, and dogwood trees near a clean creek. We asked them to stop cut the grass so the grass would grow tall with the flowers.
To check our field and observe the fireflies. We compared the fireflies that we found in our firefly sanctuary to the fireflies we found in another area of Morris Creek. We also monitored the fireflies we found in our yards and neighborhoods. We reported our observations for the Firefly Survey for West Virginia DNR.
Date, location, weather, habitat, if there was any milkweed around colors, flashes, and the synchrony of the flashes.
We found several species of fireflies in our sanctuary based on their color and light pattern. Our firefly sanctuary had twice as many fireflies as several more species than other fields at Morris Creek. We feel our sanctuary made a difference. We decided to expand our firefly sanctuary in the spring to help bees and butterflies as well.
Thanks for taking the time to share everything you have done at Morris Creek. We'll have some time for questions at the end of the session today. For now, we're going to go ahead and turn it over to Annette Hoskins with the Youth Environmental Program.
My name's Annette Hoskins. I'm with the Youth Environmental Program of the DEP. The little bit about the program, it is a 57-year-old program. It started in 1963. I'm actually going to show you a little video one of our coordinators did about the program.
Hey there, I'm Tom Aloise with the West Virginia Youth Environmental Program. I was going to tell you a little bit about the program, and perhaps you'll be interested in exploring what it's about a little bit more. The program's been around since the early 1960s. It's under the West Virginia Department of Environmental Protection. And the main focus of the program is to get young people around the state involved in environmental projects that benefit their community and the state as a whole. A simple example of one of those projects would be a litter cleanup in their town or community. The program's free, there's no obligations once you enroll, and we have over 900 groups around West Virginia that are enrolled in the program. It's 4-H clubs, scout troops, church organizations, homeschool families, and schools, and many other different organizations. The benefits of being involved in the Youth Environmental Program are many. A couple of those I wanted to mention. We give out $15,000 in cash awards every year to the best projects from around the state. We also have a $10,000 college scholarship that we give to a high school senior every year who's enrolled in the program. Now, most of our high schools in West Virginia are enrolled in the program, so if you attend a school that's enrolled in the youth program and you're a senior, then you would be eligible to apply for that scholarship. It's a really, really good scholarship. If you're in 4-H or Scouts, I encourage you to approach your troop leader or your club leader and ask them if your group is enrolled in the youth program, and if not, maybe you would like to get enrolled. To find out more about the Youth Environmental Program, just Google West Virginia Youth Program, and you can learn more about the program. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys will get interested in the program and learn more about it.
So each year we ask that the participants, the clubs, report to us what they do each year. And so these are our stats from 2020 from the reports that we received. So as of the end of March of 2020, we had 1,071 clubs, which consisted of 140,545 members. This is broken out by district. We have 6 districts around the state with 6 different coordinators in those districts to help assist with the youth environmental program. And I'll go over that here a little bit more. So we had 48 total reports out of those 1,071 clubs. Only those who report can qualify for the $15,000 in cash awards that we give out every year. So we're trying to get more people to report. But out of those that report, the numbers that we have, so they had 41,148 volunteer hours in recycling last year. So our calendar year goes from March the 16th to March the 15th of the next year. So, and these are some of the things that they recycled within their clubs. And then we had 2,628 volunteer hours on litter control. So they cleaned up over 107 miles of roadway. And you can see that they had 20 different streams or rivers that they cleaned or monitored. Out of that 107 miles or streams or community areas that they cleaned, they collected 759 bags of trash, which is down from previous years. So that's a good thing that they're being able to clean roadways but not collect as much trash. Within beautification, they had 1,573 volunteer hours of beautification. So that's planting trees or flowers, or I'm sorry, just flowers or shrubs within their communities. And then 285 volunteer hours of planting trees within their communities. So they planted 2,341 trees. Actually, 1,475 of those were purchased from our half price. We offer a half price tree seedling order through the tree nursery, through state forestry. So if they want to purchase trees, then the youth environmental program will pay half of that. So they only have to pay half of those trees that they buy through them. Some of the other projects that they completed are cleaning up trails or maintaining them, forest fire prevention, environmental education. So you'll see out of the 48 clubs, 41 of them had done, some type of environmental education. 10 of those clubs had reported on watershed protection. And then they also clean up state parks. So out of the 48 clubs that reported last year, we had 49,377 total volunteer hours. So that estimated that we saved the state over $1 million with the volunteers of what they did throughout the year of their volunteer hours, on what it would cost the state if we didn't have those volunteers. And then I also wanted to show you a list of a copy of our districts and their coordinators. So Shanti Amos, she's out of our Fairmont office, which of course we're all working from home currently, but she has the pink counties here. And then Susan Parker, the office is out of Romney, and she has the green. Beth Henry Vance has the orange counties, and her office is in Elkins. I'm sorry, Philippi, she lives in Elkins. Sarah Pryor has the yellow counties, which is District 4, and the office is out of Fayetteville. Tom Aloise has the blue counties, and his office is here out of Charleston. And then Debbie Florence has District 6, which are the white counties, and her office is out of Parkersburg. So at any time, we can work with the groups that we currently have within the Youth Environmental Program. If you guys have streams or anything like that, or a watershed that you guys want to put together a litter cleanup and you need volunteers, or you need to do a stream cleanup and you need volunteers, then get a hold of one of the district coordinators or get a hold of me, and we can work with the volunteers that we already have in those areas and join you guys together so that we can just do what we need to do and make West Virginia beautiful, keep it beautiful. We have a youth conference that we do each fall, and that rotates around the state, and that is for 13 to 18-year-olds, and that conference is geared to teaching what type of environmental careers there are. And we move that around the state so that we can get different participants. And we also reach out to higher education in those areas that we rotate around to talk about environmental careers and get people thinking about what they can do in the future after they graduate high school. So like I said, if you want any more information, just reach out to me. My contact information is on that sheet that has all of our contact information for all the coordinators and myself. So just reach out to us and we will help you guys link up with any youth volunteer group, and even possibly some adult volunteer groups. Even though we are called the Youth Environmental Program, we work with a lot of different adult groups as well. Women's clubs, gardens clubs, Lions clubs, things like that. So just reach out to us and we'll assist you guys in any way that we can. And I really appreciate you guys letting me be a part of this today.
Thank you so much, Annette.
Thank you.
And for the last segment of our educational opportunities session, I'll turn it over to Autumn Crow. She's going to tell us about the West Virginia Rivers and Trout Unlimited partnership to develop a mobile phone watershed monitoring application. Autumn?
I just wanted to let all of the watershed organizations know about a tool that West Virginia Rivers is developing with Trout Unlimited, and we're funded by DEP to develop this tool. It's going to be a smartphone enabled reporting app, so you can go out with your phone and monitor the health of your watershed and take pictures that will be geo-referenced and can be populated into a map. So I'll share my screen. What gave us this idea was that we have the visual assessment reporting program already. So they developed this Rivers app. They came up with a catchy name for it. We're still trying to come up with a catchy name for ours, but it basically gives volunteers a tool to inventory their local watershed. And so, like I said, we're in the process of developing one for West Virginia. So we're going to be tweaking this tool. But you'll be able to provide your information, or we'll give the option to have an anonymous report. But basically, it's a way for watershed groups to document issues in their watershed. So there are different disturbance types that you can document, and we're still developing this. So if your watershed group wants to help us develop this tool, we are certainly open to suggestions. We are just in the development phase of it. But basically, we're thinking of having some open dumps documented, if there's like a fish kill, or obviously like runoff from construction sites, sediment-laden water entering streams, excessive stream bank erosion, agricultural issues, cattle in the streams. So there'll be a whole selection of different disturbance types: acid mine drainage, algal blooms, invasive species. We can really adapt this tool to what the watershed groups would want to be able to document in their watersheds. So like I said, we're still in the process of figuring out what kind of disturbance types would be most useful. And then on the back end, so this is kind of what you would have on your mobile phone, is this kind of survey. And you would be able to attach photos to it. If I can find where the, so it automatically, if you're using a smartphone, it'll automatically, the app uses the location information from your phone. So it automatically georeferences where you're at. If you're in a place where there's no cell service, then you would actually have to manually get a GPS or have a GPS app on your phone, because those don't work off of cell towers. And then put in the GPS coordinates if you're out of cell range. But then you can take photos and upload the photos. And then so on the back end of it, and this wouldn't be a public facing map, but if the watershed group wanted to partner with West Virginia Rivers and Trout Unlimited, then you would have access to this map. And so this is an example of what you see in the Rivers app. So it would be something similar for our West Virginia app. And so you can see what's been documented. You can zoom in to your watershed and you will be able to see what's been documented. So these points are reports that have come in. And so you could see in your watershed all of the different points that are coming in from your members, and depending on what kind of disturbance types, what kind of fields we put into the survey, it'll show you can see everything from open dumps to invasive species problems to stream bank erosion, et cetera. And you would be able to filter for specific disturbance types. If you want to know which tributaries within your watershed need restoration efforts, or where the open dump sites are, we can kind of tailor it to fit the needs of the watershed group. And then, we can do everything from, figuring out where to focus, like 319 funds, where there's significant acid mine drainage, or where there are issues that we could report to DEP for environmental enforcement if there's like a permitted construction activity and their erosion controls are failing. So those are just some of the applications that we could use this for. And like I said, we just received the funding from the DEP AGO grants. So we're in the beginning phases of it. So if there's a watershed group that is really interested in using this kind of tool for their watershed to kind of map some of the disturbance issues within the watershed, we are certainly open for suggestions and feedback on what would be most useful to you. So definitely get in touch with me. I'll put my email in the chat. And we'll be working on it over the winter. And we hope to have some kind of prototype that we can test and then unveil the final product after the new year to have it ready to go in the spring. So once we develop it, we will be offering webinar trainings on it. And so this is kind of a great tool for right now because, we have to be socially distanced. And so it would be a really good tool to engage your members with and still, be able to do stuff within your watershed, and then we can be safe about it and not expose everyone. So we're really excited about it, and we hope the watershed groups want to work with us on developing it and engage their members in using it. Does anybody have any questions, comments, feedback?
I have a question. How is, okay, so if you find a disturbance in the river, like say there is sediment that's running off of a construction site, and you document, you take the pictures, you fill out in all the information, then what happens to it after it's submitted? Where does it go? And how do you know that the right person gets this information so that a notice of violation can be given to the person who's doing the damage?
Yeah, good question, Jen. And we are actually in discussions on that at this time. So West Virginia Rivers and Trout Unlimited are developing the tool. So we would be the one managing the data that's coming in. But if there was a watershed group that wanted to use the tool, they would certainly, be able to see the information that was coming in. It would be password protected, but we would be able to allow anybody to have access. And so part of my role with our water quality monitoring program is when we have citizen reports coming in from potential pollution events, I review those, and then I forward the ones that are serious enough for DEP to send out environmental enforcement. I submit those to DEP, and then their environmental enforcement department follows up with me. So this would kind of just couple in with that already existing water quality monitoring program where we're reporting pollution events to DEP, but it almost streamlines the process because those photos are automatically geolocated. So we can just, send DEP the location information and they can actually look it up in the map too. So it kind of helps with the data management end of it. But I would be reviewing that information to see if it was something that environmental enforcement should be sent out on.
Okay, so then after you send it out to the DEP for, the environmental whatever there, do they get back in touch with the person who initially made the complaint, or would they get back to you and then you relate that information to the individual watershed who may have reported an incident?
So it depends on the complaint that comes in. Some people don't want it to be known that they were the ones submitting the complaint, and others want to be informed on the follow-up. So depending on the citizen complaint that comes in, I ask them if they want to be CC'd on the submission, and some of them do. And then when the inspector responds to the emailed complaint, they'll let the citizen will be informed. If the inspector responds on the follow-up with a phone call to me, then I relay that information back to the citizen.
Okay. It sounds like a great tool. I can think of several instances that we could have used, that the Greenbrier River watershed could have used that just in the last year alone. Yeah. I'm excited about it.
Autumn, you were talking, this is a positive too. Like she was saying that this could also be where you can help identify projects, not just complaints. I mean, both ways. So there could be great things that you find or successes that might have happened along the way, a great find along the way, but something has life in it that didn't before. All kinds of ways of doing them.
Yeah, so we'll be in touch with more information as the product is developed.
Awesome.
Maya put it in the chat that they have their creek dog one, which we talked about a little bit in the meeting, but maybe Friends of Cheat was sit at the table as part of that discussion. I don't know, or Friends of Deckers. I'm gonna get that wrong, Deckers. And what doesn't work, I don't know if you have the ability to do that, but maybe Maya, you could help out and see if there's a need for that statewide and how to fix that if there's flaws.
Sorry, my internet's cutting out a bit and I just came back to the meeting. I had another meeting as well the previous hour. So what was your question again?
I was trying to rope you in to help and give Autumn some insight on what the program they're creating and what might make it better or could be fixed.
So, yeah, so our one of our board members, Stephen, is a graphic designer, so he really helped facilitate this. And it also is, I know the photos are geolocated as well, and the reporting is supposed to go to so that people can anonymously report, which I know some individuals, are kind of uncomfortable putting their name in, so they don't even necessarily have to have a login or anything, but they just upload the photo, and as long as their location was on when they took the photo, it's geotagged. And that is supposed, and then they can choose, like, if it was, just if it was like a litter dump, if it was a expected spill, a suspected spill, and then they can click on that, and that is supposed to inform whatever entity, whether it be DEP or MUB or anything like that, to it's supposed to alert them for them to then go out and help find a solution for that problem.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a similar program. Well, that's all I had.
Any questions for Tanya or Malden Elementary students?
Do they have a dedicated social media page where we can follow their progress?
I've been posting on my personal page, and then Morris Creek shares it. I hadn't thought of doing that. We have a teen community service chat group, but I could possibly do something like that. I hadn't really thought about it. It was literally just kind of something to do to make a difference because we wanted to help the DNR, and we love Fireflies. Who doesn't?
Awesome project.
Any questions for Annette with the Youth Environmental Program?
We had a question come into the chat. What are your funding sources for the awards?
So we recruit money, I should say. It's all, like I said, it's all gifts and donations. So some of our lead sponsors are conservation districts, solid waste authorities. We one of our biggest sponsors is Toyota Manufacturing of West Virginia. We have DuPont, Chemours, Weyerhaeuser. We have just a lot of different businesses, but also a lot of conservation districts, solid waste authorities, garden clubs, women's clubs. We get our money from, all different sources. The scholarship is through the Rick Vasilio Memorial Scholarship. He was very active in the Youth Environmental Program in his younger years, and he passed away with leukemia when he was younger, and he set up a scholarship through the Youth Environmental Program. And that, like I said, is $2,500 a year for 4 years to any college of their choice, to in any field of their choice. We don't regulate that. And the Vasilio family pays the school directly for that scholarship each year. I see another question that asks if we have any virtual programming. So I see Tommy had put a lot of the information out there. We did, because, of COVID-19, we did a lot of our presentations have been virtual this year. We were unable to have Youth Environmental Day, so we did videos of thanking everyone who we couldn't thank in person, and sent those out. And then we also was able to travel around the state. Instead of having North Bend as our primary awards day, we were able to travel to each district and pass out awards to one person at a time, social distancing, of course, and being able to go ahead and pass out all of those awards. We were not able to have junior conservation camp, so we did a week-long virtual camp for that, and we had some good turnout for that. And so those were all recorded videos that we were able to post on our social media, and a lot of our youth groups and teachers are still using those videos. A lot of them were, we partnered up with the same people that we partner with camp with, DNR, forestry, wildlife. So we partnered up with them and did some videos on that. And the same with our youth conference that was supposed to take place last month. We did a virtual youth conference with that and did videos with that as well.
And that concludes our virtual Watershed Symposium.
Yay.
Thank you all for joining us. Sorry we couldn't be in person, but this has been a really fun couple days to be able to share with you guys and a distraction from what's going on in the real world.